Some things to think about that don't get mentioned on the television and other places of authority is mostly old folks seem to be getting the car owner problem, and we have to think a little bit more about that because there seem to be clusters in nursing homes in particular. So the old folks, they're usually in their 70s, 80s, 90s. They're definitely towards the end of their existence on this planet. So that's one point. A second point would be they're cooped up indoors pretty much all day, so they're not getting any sunshine. And sunshine has been proven to be quite effective in neutralizing the car owner. It's probably a good reason why Queensland, Northern Territory and the northern part of WA have no real issue with the car owner problem. Another thing, I guess, with the old folks' homes would be the nutrition. Sure, they would be fed 3 times a day and whatnot, and I'm sure the people who prepare the meals mean well and whatnot, but the food would be not as nutritious as you'd probably think, being that budgets would demand that profits must be made at a nursing home. Quality of ingredients would necessarily drop. Another thing would be the mental state of the old people in these places. Okay, a lot of them would be depressed, to be honest. I mean, I'd be depressed if I was stuck in a building all the time, couldn't do what I wanted to do, couldn't go where I wanted to go, eating food that I didn't like, not being able to get sunshine and fresh air. These factors are also part of the problem with old folks developing car owner symptoms. Another thing that doesn't get brought up very often as well is they tend to be centered around major cities, Sydney, Melbourne, places like that. Now, Melbourne is known for being a miserable, dreary bastard of a place. I've been there once, and I never want to go back. The weather was horrible, and I didn't even get off the plane. But if you live in Melbourne or the surrounds, I'm sure you could agree that Melbourne isn't conducive to a happy, healthy lifestyle. Now, there's probably other environmental factors, chemicals in the food, in the ground, in the environment around, air pollution, a whole bunch of factors like that. And from what I've been able to learn over the last 6 months about how viruses work and other things like that, there's 2 schools of thought: germ theory, and I'm gonna muck this up, but basically environmental factors. So germ theory thinks that people spread viruses and viruses can be spread and all that sort of stuff, whereas the other school of thought focuses more on the internal and the external, rather than nasty little bugs running around. So if environment is such an important thing, you would note that Queensland has had virtually no issue for the last 6 months. New South Wales has had more, and then Victoria's had more. Tasmania, maybe it's all the fresh air or something like that, but Tassie hasn't seemed to had too much of a problem down there. WA, once again, same thing. Territory, you never really hear anything about that. So, yeah, just a few points. Make sure you're getting your sunshine. Make sure you're eating good food, not just the stuff from the supermarkets that comes from the big farms, because they're sprayed with pesticides and other weird chemicals, artificial fertilizers. Mass food production these days on farms is not conducive to a healthy body. Even though you are eating the right foods, the foods have not been grown in the best ways. If you've ever worked on a farm, as I have, you would be able to look at it and say, yeah, I see where you're going with that. If you have to work in a field that's been freshly sprayed, it's a rather unpleasant experience, particularly for myself, as I get bad hay fever. But the puffy, swollen eyes, the rashes, the itching, a lot of things like that. So yeah, just a couple of points I thought I'd bring up and give you something to think about. Anyways, take it easy, hang out with your wang out.